Hi, welcome to my channel. The Darcy Way here, coming back with more unsolicited advice for the classroom. I just wanted to help out new teachers, veterans teachers, because even though you may have been in the classroom a while, we're still learning. Things are changing, times are changing, students are changing, curricula is changing, so we're still learning as veteran teachers. And also, this may be helpful to anyone who's thinking about becoming a teacher or on the path to becoming a teacher, I should say. But I wanted to come on today to talk about difficult students. Um, I've had some challenges in the classroom, and if you've ever been in a classroom, I know you've had challenges too, whether being a substitute teacher, a teacher, student teacher. There are always going to be a challenge in the classroom. You're going to have some good days, you're going to have some bad days. And sometimes the reason for it is because of a difficult student, or the student who just refuses to listen. It doesn't matter what you do, what consequence you give, intervention you give, they're just difficult. That's the best way I can put it. I'm going to use a positive word, difficult. Well, in my experience with a student like that, the first thing you want to do is nip the behavior in the bud. If you see where you and the student are colliding when it comes to classroom expectations, because in most cases, difficult students, they have a hard time living up or just rising to your expectations. I know some of us can have a lot of expectations for our students. Most of us have high expectations for our students, and some students have a problem with rising to that challenge. And for students like that, my suggestion would be to nip it in the bud first thing. If you see it on the first day, nip it in the bud on the first day. I've had behavior problem, that I let go because it may have been the first day, first week of school, but that was a huge mistake, because keep in mind the way you handle your classroom or how your classroom runs on that first, second day, or that first week. That's how your students are expecting it to run the entire school year. So if you want your classroom to run smoothly, you have to start early with nipping negative behavior, or mainly difficult students. You want to nip that in the bud early on. How do we do this? By, first of all, before anything, getting parents or administration involved, I would suggest talking to the student one-on-one. Talk to them, tell them what you see, the behavior that you see, reviewing over your expectations if that hasn't been done already. Review your expectations again and give them the consequences along with the intervention if they have to work for it, and just let them know the behavior that will not be tolerated, because they're going to push as far as they can push. So don't let it continue on and then you decide, well, in January I want to do things differently. No, you set the standard early on. And some students, they just do what they can, but you'll have those students, difficult students, who is going to push regardless. But talk to them one-on-one and try to, I would say, come to an agreement, or just something that you think would work out for you and the student. Get to know the student. You may want to become a buddy with the students. Going back to, this has been a few years back, I had a student who she was very difficult to deal with in the classroom, and mainly because she was very immature. Now I know students, they are students, they're kids, but some students are more immature than others. So sometimes it's hard to deal with. And with this one, it was very hard to deal with. The behavior. Most of her teachers just didn't want to deal with her. They just had it. And we had several students like that. All in all, we had a lot of behavior issues at the school, a lot of behavior problems. So what my principal did, the principal at that time, she decided to start this buddy system. Let's see if I can get it right. She said, pick one student and sit with that student every day, or ask the student how they're doing every day. In the morning, talk with them to see how the day, just ask them how they're doing. Maybe talk with them throughout the day. And in the evening before they go home, ask them how was their day. Just basically becoming a buddy with the student, or I don't want to use the word friends, but you can say that in a way. But I decided, I don't know if all of the teachers did, I don't remember, but I did. And I picked this particular female student who the teacher was like, oh, I just can't deal with her. I decided to ask her every day, how was she doing? If I saw her out for recess, I would call her over, talk to her, see how her day is going. Before she went home, I even gave her a hug at the end of the day. And things changed with that student. It really did. And I don't know if she just needed the attention or what it was, but I did see a positive change in her. And not only was it a positive change for the student, and for me, the way I looked at her, or as the way I saw her as a student change, and also it changed the behavior of the other teachers. I saw one day, at the end of the day, before I can give the student a hug, one of my coworkers, one of her other teachers, was giving her a hug. Now, why do you think she was doing that? Because she saw me doing it. So I started it, and I guess the teacher was like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. And maybe it was out of jealousy. She saw where me and the student was actually forming a relationship. And I actually seen the same student in the store once. So outside of school, and she was so happy when she seen me waving, hey, Miss Darcy. And it was, oh, and I was actually shocked. A lot of times when teachers see kids, or at least when I see them in the store, especially if they're on the side of their parent, they don't speak. They don't say anything. And then at school, they're waving at you all day, every day. So when she was waving outside, I believe I was getting in the car. She was outside of the store. She was waving, and it really warmed my heart. And that actually worked. I found the time to take just a little extra time with her, and it actually worked. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if any other teachers did it prior to me doing it or with me, because I didn't hear any stories. But I didn't even get a chance to even tell the principal that I had at that time. I didn't get a chance to tell her the results of that little experiment. But I was surprised that it did work. So sometimes taking a little time out with your most difficult students can really help the situation, and not only help the relationship between you and the student, but it can also help the relationship with the student and other teachers. I was amazed by that. I really was. So once again, with difficult students, sometimes you just have to take some time out. after you have laid down the law, I'm going to say that, laid down the law, meaning you have made your expectations clear. You have made your consequences clear. And you follow those consequences. Be consistent. And you have discussed the interventions. You know, I know some teachers like to give out little toys, or they hand out tickets at the end of the week on a Friday or whatever. The students can buy something using their tickets, or the teachers may give out candy. Now, I like to give treats for academics, participation in class, doing well on formal and informal assessments. But some teachers give it for good behavior. That's, it's up to the individual. But make all of that clear. But sometimes for some students, you have to go a little farther than that. Just taking a little bit more of your time for the student. You may not be able to do it for all of your students, but I would say maybe find one every school year. And that's going to be a word for myself as well. I'm going to start back doing that, because after that student, I didn't do it again, but I guess I forgot about it. But thinking back, it was a really good experiment. So I guess other than that, after you have worked with the student and done everything that you could, another thing that helps, well, let me just say this. In most cases, when things are not going the way you want them to go, or the way you would like in your classroom, and you want things to change, always keep this in mind. Change starts from within. Change starts with you. A lot of times we want and we hope the student changes or our situation changes, but change really starts from within. So I hope I've helped someone today, and I really hope my videos are helping. If you like any of this, I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe to my channel, and it lets me know that you are enjoying this or it's helping, and I can put more videos out. So with that being said, that's the Darcy way.